All right, good morning. Welcome, everyone. I invite you to take your seats. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's great to see everybody here today. My name is Maureen Conway. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a vice president here at the Aspen Institute, an executive director of the Aspen Institute's Economic Opportunities Program, and I am just delighted to welcome you all to day 2 of the Employee Ownership Ideas Forum. Let's see. This event is co-hosted by the Aspen Institute's Economic Opportunities Program and our partners at the Rutgers Institute for the Study of Employee Ownership and Profit Sharing. And we are incredibly grateful to the Ford Foundation, Prudential Financial, and JP Morgan Chase for their support of this event. It's great to see so many of you from yesterday. It's great to welcome some of you new to being live with us today. It's great to welcome our virtual audience back, and hopefully things work better for them today than they did yesterday. So today, I just wanted to pause a little to reflect on yesterday, because I thought we just had a fabulous first day. The energy was really great. I thought all the speakers really kind of hit the notes we wanted them to hit. We had a wonderful bipartisan group of elected officials joining us. We had lots of companies and sort of practical advice about how this works. We had the government agencies talk about some of the specific things that they're doing to expand their support of employee ownership. But I think the thing I reflected on, the most, that I thought animated all of the conversations, was kind of the thing that Dan Porterfield started out with the opening remarks, and sort of really kind of thinking about the values that animate employee ownership, and thinking about sort of how it's good for workers, not just in terms of improving their paychecks or their retirement savings account, but in terms of how they feel about their work. It's good for communities and how communities work together. It's good for people's participation at work, but also in their public life and in their civic life. So I thought there were so many things about the values that animate employee ownership, and sort of the ways people shared that and talked about that, and sort of in those terms, but also in sort of the practical realities of how it plays out in their lives. So just really, that's kind of what I'm thinking about from yesterday, and we'll be interested in chatting with some of you later about what you are thinking about. But on with the show. So today we have 3 great panels covering innovation in employee ownership, new frontiers in finance, and the future of equity compensation. We'll close out the day with sort of 5 big ideas for employee ownership from a diverse set of perspectives on that question. And in between all that, we have, for our in-person attendees, a number of opportunities for you to talk with each other. I know this is a room full of folks who likes to talk with each other, so I appreciate you sitting down for a moment. But over lunch, we'll invite you to join conversations. We have 11 topics for you to choose from. You're not required to go to one of those, but there's 11 really interesting topics that you can choose from and explore. Including how to expand the number of ESOPs, connections between ownership and civic engagement, the future of research, worker cooperative finance, more things. I shouldn't name them all. We'll also have facilitated discussion groups this afternoon that we encourage you to join to get everybody's input on and ideas for advancing the employee ownership agenda. We will close our in-person experience with a reception at 5:30 on our rooftop. I'm thinking the weather will cooperate. We will see about that. But today we have an all-star set of speakers with expertise and knowledge. And the expertise and knowledge in this room is truly astounding, so really excited to get going. I do want to say a few notes for our virtual audience. We welcome you. All attendees virtually are muted. We welcome your questions. Please do use the Q&A box on your screen. We have a couple of folks in the room who will voice your questions on your behalf, so please do use that. We also know that our virtual audience also has a wealth of information, so please share your views, ideas, examples, resources, and experiences. You can do that in the chat. We encourage you to post about this conversation. It goes for those of you in the room too. On whatever your preferred social media platform is, our hashtag is Talk Ownership. If you have any technical issues or need to contact us, you can reach us at eop.program@aspeninstitute.org. That is eop.program@aspeninstitute.org. The forum is being recorded and will be shared via email and posted on our website. Closed captions are also available for this discussion. And now, it is my great pleasure to get us started today to introduce Margot Brandenburg, Senior Program Officer at the Ford Foundation. Margot is on the Mission Investments team, focused on building and strengthening the infrastructure of the impact investment market with an eye to shaping broader capital markets. She's been a key leader in the field of impact investing, co-authoring the book, The Power of Impact Investing, with former Rockefeller Foundation President Judith Rodin. Margot has an amazing bio, so I can't read the whole thing, but there's more on our website about Margot. She's really tremendous, and we're so grateful that she's here to open up our day two. So thank you, Margot.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Maureen, thank you for the generous introduction and for not reading my full bio. That would have been really embarrassing. But more so, Maureen, Matt, the team at Aspen, thank you for gathering us today and yesterday. Thank you to the team at Rutgers for teaching so many of us so much about broad-based employee ownership, both today but for the past decades. I know I have learned an enormous amount, and so have so many others. The Ford Foundation is an 80-plus-year-old foundation with a mission to address inequality in all its forms. We are honored to be one of the sponsors of today's event and especially grateful to be in a room with so many of you and the opportunity to learn so much. As Maureen mentioned, my team, Mission Investments, invests part of the foundation's capital into companies and funds that advance our social justice mission, including those that focus on broad-based ownership. And as a grant maker, we try to find opportunities to build the field of impact investing and of inclusive capitalism more broadly. And I'm joined here today by my colleague Livia Lamb, who's from our Future of Workers program, with whom we collaborate a lot. And so we're both bringing our respective lenses to this work. And I think broad-based ownership encapsulates a number of the foundation's aspirations and values in a really sort of elegant way. I should say, to be honest, for those of us that are still learning about employee ownership, I think it can be pretty intimidating. ESOPs in particular can be rife with technical jargon, specters of litigation, things that sort of make us, I think, worry that it's hard to get involved with. And I saw the event last year, the event yesterday, a number of things that have happened in the intervening year, really helping to demystify this concept, make it more accessible, and both showcase, leadership and models that have been around for decades while creating this big tent, right, that allows many more of us to see ourselves in it. And, as someone who's got sort of one foot in and one foot out, it really feels like we're in a moment of growth and dynamism and energy and innovation for the space, and I just think it's incredibly exciting. But in chatting with a few people this morning, I know not everyone could be there yesterday, so I wanted to camp on to Maureen's reflections and just share a couple of things that stuck with me for those of you who couldn't be in the Capitol. One, again, ESOPs, are their own thing. There's some idiosyncrasies to employee ownership, but they're not apart from all of the other issues of our time, right? We heard folks from the Industrial Commons talking about having received money from the CHIPS Act to really push the frontier of circular economy in textiles. And we heard other ESOP companies talk about reskilling and retention and supply chain resilience, right? These are not issues that are in addition to all the other things that we worry about as an economy and a society. They are an integral part of it. And to me, that was really exciting. We heard about a proposal for a national employee ownership bank, which I think a number of us were pleased and surprised to hear. As soon as we finish sorting out green banks, I'm excited for folks to really dig into that. We know that a large number of ESOP conversions are seller financed and that can be an impediment, and so really welcomed the opportunity to have an ambitious conversation about wholesale financing. I thought that was a really exciting and, for me, unexpected takeaway. I, at least, was excited and surprised by the amount of innovation happening in policy and regulatory mechanisms. To hear more about what's working in Washington State and Colorado was really exciting. To hear that the Department of Defense has a pilot procurement program for employee-owned businesses, that's really exciting. I think it gets us a little bit closer to that whole-of-government approach that a lot of us aspire to. And finally, this wasn't new, but I was reminded that employee-owned businesses and their workers are the best advocates for this work. I think all of us were incredibly inspired, and so opportunities to showcase those voices are just extremely valuable. So day one was exciting, and I think day two is lining up to be even more so. I see lots of people who I admire and lots more that I can't wait to get to know. So without further ado, Matt, I'll pass it over to you.